Hi, I'm Claude.
And I'm Clinton, and we're the lamest offenders. On today's TLDR, we review Shang-Chi, and the father's the best part of the movie.
It's true.
Hiya, Thanos. We're the lamest offenders.
I don't even know who you are.
We have a small but dedicated fan base.
Be sure to visit our sponsor at BaskervilleProductions.com.
Welcome back, everyone. So this is Shang-Chi, and so basically, if you're not familiar with the character, well, I guess neither was anybody else. So they had to meld some different things with him. Like, for instance, his father in this movie is actually the real Mandarin Wenwu. So that was pretty interesting because it opens up basically him, because he has the 10 rings, and he's just going throughout history and just collecting power, and he has this huge criminal organization. So that was pretty interesting because it shows that eventually...
Yeah, that was cool. That was the cool part.
That was awesome. It was my favorite part, honestly. And then it shows him trying to collect more power, and he ends up meeting this woman in part of this an enchanted jade forest, basically. Yeah. And they...
Lots of bamboo.
Lots of bamboo, that's correct. And then so he meets her, and she's actually a more skilled martial artist than he is. And then for whatever reason, they fall in love.
Yeah, because movie.
Yeah. So they end up having 2 kids, and Shang-Chi and his sister, and basically they train. That's basically it. They train him basically to, uphold his organization and become skilled martial artists.
Yes and no, but he kind of walked away from it. He walked away from the 10 rings.
Yeah.
And because he just wanted to be a father and a husband. Yeah. That's all he wanted. And then tragedy struck.
Yeah. So I mean, like any other comic book movie ever,
a bunch of goons get onto an isolated mountain compound that you practically have to get a helicopter to.
Yeah.
Completely by surprise. And then
there's no cameras.
And then they kill the mom. Yeah. Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
And then it like that kind of spurs the dad to train Shang-Chi to be more of a warrior, because he's like, you got to basically protect what's yours.
Yeah, because his wife was, the mom of Shang-Chi was a pure soul, and then basically Wenwu agreed to basically take the 10 rings off and just live as a family man.
Yeah, he let it go.
So but
she didn't age.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, but
good diet. So I guess the 10 rings, because he's power hungry when he has them, and then so he becomes this family man, and then after she's killed, he basically wants to find her murderers, which makes sense, like you actually see his point of view, which is nice.
Like the dad was the best written part of this movie. Mm-hmm. He was great. Like he was the most. You actually feel sorry for him at points. You can see the love on his face for this woman, and it was really great. And then you're just like, oh, okay, now we're going back to this nonsense. It's like so many.
There was a lot of nonsense. So I mean, kind of fast forwarding, it's basically Shang-Chi is living in hiding, and then he works at he's a car valet, and then
hotel,
and one of the. I'm gonna say right now, I think it's the worst character in the entire MCU. You think I hated Darcy, but this chick Katie in it is. Any moment she's on the screen, I just felt like I died inside. I hated every second of it, because any part of dialogue is sarcastic, or it's supposed to be this comic relief, but it never lands.
And she sounds like she smokes at least 2 packs of Parliaments a day. She always sounds like it's got the raspiest. Like, what are you talking about, Shang-Chi?
I seriously, I was crying laughing in the theater, because there was a fight scene where her and Shang-Chi are on these, on the side of a building in China, and I made the mention because she said, "You got upside down. Help me, Shang-Chi, help!" I was like, it was hilarious, and it didn't need to be.
It was. She was a comedic. What was that? Comedic
relief.
Oh gosh, relief and unintentional way. She was one of the worst. Not the worst part of the movie, though, for me. The worst part was the sister. The sister, I'm happy to see you. Mm-hmm. I'm angry to see you.
Yeah, the emotional range wasn't quite there.
No, and you can tell she's a very skilled martial artist. She's probably doing all of her stunts, but give me a break. You cannot give her an acting coach, something. Help this woman. She needs help.
Right.
She needs some milk.
I mean, just seeing her like interact with Shang-Chi, there wasn't any chemistry whatsoever, and it felt off because that's his sister that he hasn't seen in a while.
Yeah, and then she rightly hated him because he left for like 10 years at least.
Yeah,
and he abandoned her, and her mother died. Her father was a jerk to her. He wouldn't let her train.
He refused to train her.
She had to train in private, and like she had a pretty good character arc, but the actress was awful.
Didn't stick the landing.
No, it was just like you can't do any better than this at all. Movie,
and the character arc, which was cool too, because she basically has her own. I wouldn't say criminal empire, but it's a betting ring in China, which was cool because
she's her Dana White. She's UFC.
Yeah.
She meets with Joe Rogan all the time.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts is that you get to see more MCU stuff. So obviously in the trailer, it's Abomination versus Wong, which was really cool. And they are buddies now. I think Wong is now training Abomination to kind of control his rage, which was neat. And he actually looks like the comic book version.
Yeah, he had the fins on the side of the head and everything. He looked awesome, but it was like, what? 10 seconds? 20 seconds? Like, it was nothing at all.
I thought
it was a bigger deal. Sorry.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be more involved with the She-Hulk Marvel
that'd be
the
cool.
TV show. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for that. I mean, but fast forwarding, basically, Wenwu, which is the Mandarin, I wouldn't say kidnaps, but returns his 2 kids and Katie to his compound because he's having all these dark whispers because now he's evil because he's wearing the wiener ring.
Whispers. Whispers.
He's wearing the rings again because he's bad, and I guess he starts to hear these voices where it's his wife saying they need to breach her homeland because it's guarded. It's a secret.
This dragon-scaled gate
because she's over demons. There. Yeah, it didn't make much sense.
No,
but, it's Marvel.
Oh, and then there's another there's a part where there's this blue ninja turtle looking ninja. Redundant, sorry, but we thought, I thought, I leaned over to Claude at one point, and bet you that's the mom. It was not the mom. It was nothing.
Yeah, it was
nothing.
Just a henchman.
Just a red herring. Yeah. Just okay, that's cool, but
it's like Boba Fett, where they build him up and nothing really happens.
So that actually kind of pissed me off. I hated that. I was like, oh, dude, get something. I don't know, but. The way that character stood out, that could have just been anybody. But
I think the reason they behind the scenes, it was I'm forgetting the name, but it was a pretty famous martial artist that actually came in I think played him. So that's cool, but at the same time, give him more stuff to do.
Yeah, the guy can't talk.
No, he's mute.
In the dialogue, I don't know, something.
But eventually, so Wenwu basically wants to go to his wife's homeland. Which is hidden by a bamboo forest for whatever reason.
A maze,
you fly over it or something. But so she's behind this door, according to him, and then the siblings, Shang-Chi and his sister, don't want to do that because he wants to raise the town, and basically they realize that their dad is going a little bit crazy. So that sets up the entire premise of the third act, which goes on. It felt like forever. It was a drag, seriously.
I'm not sure how long this movie was. Maybe 2 hours. I thought it was almost 3. It was so. I was like, can we wrap this up, please?
I know. Because the Endgame, it didn't feel very long because there was no weak points really.
The story's constantly moving.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, we arrived at the town or the village rather. And then it just stopped. Yeah. The movie just grinded to a halt, and it was just okay, something happened now.
Yeah. Because nothing. You have to learn how Shang-Chi gets his outfit and his sister gets an outfit. He learns the way.
Which were perfectly measured, by the way.
Yeah.
Evidently, the mother knew exactly how tall they were going to be and their size.
Introduced to their aunt who's just been chilling.
And Captain Giorgio and Emperor Giorgio from the Mirror Universe in Star Trek Discovery.
Jesus Christ. But anyway,
I was so happy to get that.
Yeah, so she trains them in the way, or Shang-Chi in the way of the fart, which is the power of the wind, where it's a more defensive martial art, where her mother knew it.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then it just.
And
It's slogged on.
The part that just took me out of the movie completely. I thought this was going to be Marvel's kung fu movie. Like I thought
that's what was promised.
I was excited about that part, and in parts it was like some of the fight scenes, especially the bus that I'm sure they've shown in the trailers, was awesome. Like it was the most exciting bus scene since Speed.
Yeah,
and it was just like, oh, okay, this is great. More of this, please. This is fantastic. It was just. I
thought the entire movie was going to be like at least the action scenes. Yeah,
like that was going to be so great. But then it gets to the CG, it gets a little convoluted. Like, all right, this is messy.
Yeah,
and then dragons show up at the very end. Yeah, it's like completely unnecessary.
Wenwu is trying to bust open the gate, and then all the while the little demons are coming out like single file, taking them out, and then. It's just the dragon pops up, and then all of a sudden, like it reminded me of Age of Ultron, where it's just CGI, and I'm just like, I lost interest in it. Like I just didn't care. And then the fight between Shang-Chi and Wenwu, it doesn't matter. Like nothing. Like Shang-Chi gets his ass kicked, and then it's like turns out he can use the
rings just fine.
Yeah, and it's just like...
Which I guess I don't know if they're hereditary of some kind. Like, they don't explain anything. Like, they explain nothing in this world.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, okay.
And then in the comics, the rings do more than just a lightning whip. Like, it was basically, they were... Whiplash from the comics, or you have Omega Red. It was just it literally felt just like a whip.
Yeah, for sure.
Except one like fireball at the end.
Yeah. And then the sister all of a sudden is riding the good dragon, the water dragon, and it was something like out of Never Ending Story.
Yeah,
it was just like
okay,
and then it just.
And then the big ass demon comes out. It's a demon dragon. I was like, this is Monster Hunter. And then I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. It was like the hero. I mean, I guess he did defeat the monster. But the water dragon did 99% of it, and it was dying at that point. But then he just shoots his rings into them, and they bust out.
And guess who has a really good arrow shot because they were trained for 5 minutes? Katie.
Yeah.
Awkwafina. And I was
can't
like,
take that person seriously.
Yeah. And I was just like, what the?
I honestly wish she would have went, yes, I did it.
Dragon just goes up.
Yeah.
Nice shot, kid. just tries by. It was seriously.
I wish it had winked. Like,
yeah. This seriously sucked. Like it lasted for forever.
I thought it was going to be just a straight kung fu movie, and that was going to be awesome. I was looking forward to that. Instead we get this monstrosity.
I would have loved to see more build up with Wenwu, the daughter, and Shang-Chi like growing up. I don't need to see him like in San Francisco for a while. Like it's just like I would have had that because there's flashbacks of that of his childhood, and I wanted to see it more focus on that.
It's a shame they couldn't have made it the movie just about Wenwu. And just like actually just make it about him, because he was a way interesting character. He was great.
And guess what? They kill him off. Spoilers.
Yeah.
So
how does he die?
He gets his soul sucked like in Mortal Kombat, the horrible movie. I really like Shang-Chi, like as a character. I want to see more of him. I'm interested to see what he does outside of this. Like how is he going to interact like in the real world, like instead of being this Lisa Frank folder, like where all the magical creatures are flying out. Like I want to see how he actually performs, because in that bus scene it shows how good he is at kung fu, and that was amazing. So I would love to see that. So, and then the post-credit scenes, basically it shows Captain Marvel, and then Bruce Banner, who is now not Smart Hulk, he actually is Bruce Banner again, and they're investigating the ring's powers. And then for whatever reason, they bring Katie, who does nothing. She had like one arrow shot. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
And also Mark Ruffalo, like Bruce Banner, recast Bruce Banner. Mark Ruffalo looks tired. He looks disinterested. He just doesn't want to be there. He
sounds like you.
Yeah, it's like me watching this movie. Like just recast him. Like just be done with this, Mark. Move on. You clearly want to go do other things, so that's fine. Just give it to someone else.
I don't know. I still like him, but that's just.
I liked Edward Norton, honestly. I liked him as Bruce Banner.
Yeah. So out of 10, what would you give Shang-Chi to put you on the spot?
I think a 5.
5.
A 5. This was average. I have no desire to see this again. I just don't care. I probably won't remember a lot of this, and that's
what's tough about doing a review right after coming out of the theaters too. It's just like,
I
haven't let it stew.
Probably benefited from this. Like what was that scene? What happened then? But I don't know. I was not impressed. I thought the Shang-Chi and the dad were great. Everybody else sucked as far as acting goes. It was fine.
I'm going to be a little bit nicer because I think there was definitely potential there. And yeah, I mean, like, I agree with a lot of what you just said. So honestly, I'm probably going to give this a 6.4 just to be a little bit nicer. Yeah, I'm excited to see where Shang-Chi goes now that we're out of the Lisa Frank folder, you know,
Sure.
And to see what his sister does and how it interacts. But anyway, that's our review for Shang-Chi. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week for another review of Marvel's What If.
Thanks so much. Stay lame.
Bye.